Well, we're tracking current events now with Laolu Akande, and we're looking at a number of issues, some of which have, many of which have happened right here at Channels Television. If you missed any of the conversations that we'll be making reference to, you can always go to our website, channelstv.com, or you watch youtube.com/channelsweb. Well, Mr. Akande, I'm sure that you're no stranger to the the interview that happened on a sister program, Morning Brief, the Morning Brief, right, where the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, well, Senator Hadi Sirika, Captain Hadi Sirika, right, was on the program trying to defend Air Nigeria, which, well, unfortunately, we're still yet to see manifest. But he says it was not a scam. I do not know how you feel about that particular statement, considering the fact that he also served as a minister in the administration in which you served.
Well, I mean, it's a very long story, but I think Festus Keyamo has given us the essence of what happened. What I recollect clearly was that this idea of Nigeria here was something that Hadi Sirika was strongly advised against. And the mainstream of the argument in the government, which he went against, was that it ought to be a private sector initiative. And the way he was going about it, the president several times had to ask him to go back to the vice president, who pointed out to him the absurdity of what he was doing. But because, he also had, he was the minister, he did what he wanted. I mean, this is the summary of what happened. Hadi did what he wanted to do because he could do it. And now he has to answer to those absurdities and the lack of logic of his actions. And, whether it's a scam or not, Nigerians have seen it. I mean, we all knew what happened. My point is that, Hadi was advised against what happened. He insisted on it, he was stubborn about it, he pursued it, and it failed.
I do not want to waste too much time on that particular matter.
Why?
Let us move on.
Why? Because who told him not to do it? Was it the vice president that told him not to do it?
The president several times referred him to the vice president. The vice president held a series of meetings with him, showing him that this is not the way to do it. But he persisted, and the fact that it ended where it ended was predictable. That's my point.
Okay, let's go to the next one, Akila. Let me leave you to it. This issue on
El-Rufai
bandits.
And bandits. And the conversation around payment of bandits.
Right.
Growing a criminal economy. We're boosting a criminal economy, according to El-Rufai. But this is something that he said he did back in the day, but he has since repented, says it doesn't work. And of course, we've seen the answer come out to say, look, we don't do this. Right. But I was watching Malpa yesterday with the guest from Kaduna, that from Breningwari, and he says they have community relations with the bandits. They find a way of sorting things out.
Community initiative.
It's a community initiative. He said the state government is not part of it, but he also said that they're not paying any money.
Right.
He said this is not happening. But we've been hearing about communities in other parts of Nigeria coming up with some kind of levy that they pay to the bandits so that they can leave them alone to go to the farm. What do you make of this whole situation? Is there a point while you're fighting bandits that you feel, okay, look, we have to come up with some kind of arrangement with them so that we have some peace, as opposed to just being kinetic on them all the time?
Well, I mean, I think my greatest worry about this narrative is the lack of honesty on the part of many of the interlocutors. People like Nasir El-Rufai. If only we can be honest with ourselves, then we might be able to advance some of these problems. But most of our people are not honest. I mean, to start with, El-Rufai was a person that explained to this whole nation that, I had to go and take care of some of the people that were causing problem in southern Kaduna, and I felt that if we could pay them, to solve the problems. He said it actually on Channels TV in 2021, and now he's coming back to say that, I will never do that. It just shows that most of these guys are not honest. So we cannot advance a serious conversation that will lead to change if people are not at least honest. That's my first.
So, but in fairness
that's
to him,
the first
Mr. Akande, in fairness to him, I remember, yes, he did say that in 2021, and he said it twice. He said it both times, interestingly, were on Sunrise Daily.
Yes.
The first time we're actually in Kaduna. The second time he was in our studios in Lagos.
Right.
And each time he explained what he had tried to do. But much later, when we saw what was happening in the northwest, and the problems we were having with the burning Gwari forest,
right.
And how that policy did not seem to have worked. He was the first person to say, look, this is not working, I have no part in it anymore. We're not going to be paying bandits. We're not going to be, he thinks it's a terrible policy, perhaps from the experience that he had had.
Right.
And he did not waste time in condemning it. So is it really being dishonest when he says that, look, this is not something that we should be engaging in?
Because if you look at the broader issues, it was also under El-Rufai that the divisions, of our people in the north became entrenched because of his one-sided and at times, arrogant attitude. The questions of the human rights violations that happened under El-Rufai are still out there begging for answers. Where is Daddy Yatta? There are a lot of issues that show that these people are not honest. We should not be basing our national conversation to transform this country on the characters that can't even just tell a straight argument. They can't even speak straight. Their conversations, their narrative depends on where they stand in the political balance. No, we need non-partisan rhetoric. That's my point.
Okay, fair enough. But can we also go to sleep, or can we rest assured with the response of the Office of the National Security Advisor?
Well, I think that if there is evidence, which again, Madam El-Rufai, had nothing to substantiate his very wide allegations. He says that, when the time comes. Bullshit. I mean, rubbish. If you have
I was going to say, that's not a television term,
I take that back. But it's just complete nonsense to say that when the time comes, we'll bring the evidence. If you have the evidence, table the evidence now. Why delayed? He has no evidence of any kind.
Listen, we're looking at the on-site statement, right? It's not the first time we've heard them deny these sorts of things.
Right.
We also hear about situations where someone paid ransom and then they'll come and say they rescued the person.
Right.
So the thing is this: even if Mr. El-Rufai doesn't have the proof or didn't provide the proof on that particular program,
right.
we keep hearing about these things, about communities paying for them to be able to do their work. Those things are not being addressed. We just hear from the on-site, oh, we don't do it. Right. Is that a sufficient enough response for the Nigerian people who are hearing in Zamfara, in all those places, that they are paying bandits so that they can be able to work and live peacefully in their neighborhoods?
It is not a sufficient response, clearly, and the fact that ransoms are being paid is established, who does it, when, how, we don't know the details, but I think we've even had the MBS come out to tell us at some point that this is the amount of money that people have paid.
In ransom,
so that is an ongoing problem that has to be sorted out. My argument, and it's a very serious point, is that the people who engage in these issues have to be honest. If we are not honest, we are not going to we're not going to move this problem any inch further at all. This kind of behavior, we don't need this kind of characters getting involved in this thing. Let people who are serious, let people who have a true public interest, let them go after this problem and let them solve it. Let our politics reflect some kind of basic, decent behavior.
Okay. Very quickly, talking about honesty, we had thought that we had seen the last of this, or that the progress was now going to be made, given what the PDP, because we're switching gears now to politics,
right.
the People's Democratic Party had done with its zoning formula, so to speak. It would seem that it was trying to solve whatever problems were in its party and douse whatever suspicion could raise its head by saying, look, presidency go to the south,
right.
National chairman to the north, and we're hosting our convention in November.
Right.
But it does appear that not all factions within the party have been pacified. So we're still seeing, the Minister of the FCT saying, look, there's still a number of conditions that need to be met. Otherwise, what you're planning in Ibadan will not be valid. And PDP says who?
I mean,
Badon is sacrosanct.
yeah. I mean, Marco and Kela, what is happening in PDP is just a real theater of the absurd. You know, where you have a whole political party. This is by far the oldest political party in the Fourth Republic. And they are being held ransom by one young man called Yesom Wike. You know, and they have not been able to muster. Yes, the man is in his 50s. You know, they've not been able to muster. I mean, compared to the party. Where was Wike in 1999? You know, up until 2007. And this guy is holding the party by the jugglers. And those guys in PDP, all of them put together, they can't just refute this man. I just find it that it goes back to my main argument that the kind of people that are involved in our politics are jokers. How is it that all of those PDP guns are still allowing this? He's still a member of the party. You can't deal with it. What is it? What is it that is difficult to bring to take this guy down? Why?
Yeah, but he says that they're not following due process. That's the grouse he has.
What is the due process that is involved? The courts have established that, look, a party is run essentially by its leaders. And the people in the party are clear as to the direction they want to go. Then you have a Wike, you know, gather, you know, his 4 or 5 other friends and begin to run their mouth all over the place. And clearly well-resourced. And a whole party, a whole PDP will be shuddering because of this guy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it will seem that the party is resurrecting. But each time Wike comes and says, no, you're not so fast. I will beat you guys down. And it seems he's having the upper hand.
Why does he keep doing that? Why do you think he keeps doing that?
Why he keeps doing?
Yes, why do you think Wike keeps doing that?
Well, because Wike is clear where Wike belongs. Wike is in PDP and Wike is in APC. The only Nigerian politician who has managed to be in both places. You know, he has a bromance that is going on, that people say, with the president that gives him a blank check.
There must be a reason why he can't be reined in.
I see no reason why it can be reined in, except the fact that the characters in the PDP are not courageous people. They are not bold. That's all. They're not ready for a good fight with the guy. That's the point. That's my argument. They don't have the audacity.
I don't think anyone has fought Wike and won successfully so far.
Well, you know, I mean, that speaks to the value and the character of the people that are running Nigeria's politics. Why you can have somebody like Wike who is clearly behaving absurd. Are you in PDP or are you in APC? Wike has shown us that you can be in two parties at the same time. And all of us, we are witnessing it. And his party, the PDP, can't stop it.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing how that manual works. But we have to thank you. Because
Thank you so much.
I don't know about fighting, you know, the FCT minister, but I do know about fighting time. It's a battle you cannot win. That one I'm confident of. We have to thank you for coming on the program this morning. Mr. Laolu Akande is a former presidential aide and also the host of Channels Television's Inside Sources.